Hello, this is Cotton Stoops and welcome back to another Lumion Legacy HTUC video. And today's video is going to be talking about Morphezu, one of the 3 titans that have been revealed in the UMB update. We're going to be talking about its counters and checks and teammates in order to know how to team build around Morphezu, as well as its roles and sets in order to use it in the battle. Today's video is all about how to use and counter Morphezu. So the role that Morphezu is going to be playing is all dependent on its base stats, because its base stats determine what it can actually do. First off, you want to know that it has some bad melee defense of 55. This is not really the best, even if you have some monstrous HP stat. Just know that your melee defense is going to be the weak side of your defenses. You have a pretty good energy stat and a speed stat of 85. This speed stat outspeeds the likes of Soul Burst Eruptodon and Speed Ties Halvantix. However, you get outsped by quite a lot of the offensive Lumions nowadays. You still outspeed the likes of Joltooth and Lashent and Valkyrie, like all of that. So running a personality or without it does benefit you in some way. He of course has a pretty good energy stat of 90, getting up to a pretty good benchmark with minimal investment. And your TPs. Your HP of 115 allows you to have some very good bulk, especially with your range defense stat, and you have a monstrous range attack stat of 155, just being below Gargolem attack, which tells you how hard this will have to hit, especially with personalities and boosts. In fact, it is the first Lumion of its kind to have an attacking stat this high and have a boost this much with Peace of Mind. So it's pretty obvious what this Lumion can do. It's going to be a strong wall breaker. It certainly has the niches that it can try to be, especially with clever sets. However, because it doesn't have good recovery and its defensive typing isn't the best, you will most likely find yourself using this as an offensive Lumion. So this is going to be the Morphezu Breaker set. This also acts as a boot set, which you can try and run. Because it does have a lot of crowded speed here, running a boot set can get the jump on the likes of Jalusa, which can be proving pretty good. However, it is mainly to outspeed the likes of cleaners such as Zulong. Your ability is going to be Skyborn. If I do recall, its secret ability, which makes every move 100% accurate, will be changed to attacking moves, so the likes of 100% accuracy Hypnotize will be changed. If Jamie does not go back on this decision, then you can run its essay, so you can get 100% accuracy on Hypnotize. Your personality here is going to be Smart. Personally, whether or not you're running boots, your Smart is always going to be your best personality. You have to hit hard. You already hit hard, so make your damage even better. Nimble boots outspeeds a lot more stuff though, so if you really want to try that, go ahead. Your moveset. I would really suggest Jetstream. Jetstream is pretty solid, and Expert Onslaught is reliant on your teammates first off, which you will have to run some like Gargolem defense or another air type in order to actually take advantage of it. Meanwhile, Peace of Mind is going to be pretty much required on a lot of sets that isn't running boots. Of course, run your full coverage of your Air Stab, your Psycho Blast, Shrewd Blast, and Metal Blast for boots, and then you can replace Psycho or Shrewd Blast for Hypnotize. Personally, I would run Shrewd Blast over Psycho Blast just because you can have the jump on neutral damage against Cleone, Metatoad, other stuff like that that will be switching into you. So that's what I do, even though you don't really can do that. Shrewd Blast mainly just hits Spirits and Obsidian anyways. And then onto the TPs or the items first. Amulet, if you do not have an Amulet user, this would be perfect. Having Hypnotize, setting up your Peace of Mind is very good. Milkshake is also another option in case you can live a hit and then regain your HP back. And then Boots, of course, run it if you're running 4 moves. And then for the TPs, 200 range attack is to make your range attack as high as possible, while your speed tier will be running 168. This is to outspeed very smart Soul Burst Eruptodons. All this may seem unorthodox because people may think Soul Burst Eruptodon does run nimble. There are quite a lot of people that are running very smart nowadays because they mostly relegate Soul Burst Eruptodon to Baffle Core teams. Of course, If you do not want to run that, 200 speed is perfectly fine. If you are running 200 speed, run 96 HP. If you are running 168, run 128 HP. Your energy here is going to be 4 because it gets you up to 250 energy, leaving you some pretty good room to actually use moves, and that's pretty much it. So counters and checks is going to be something you want to take note here. First off, this, if it's going to be running boots, is going to be able to outspeed a lot of offensive Lumions, so determining its set is very important here. First off, most of these Lumions are going to be Lumions that outspeed it if it's not boots, and boots admittedly is a fun strategy, but it's overall not really the greatest. So running the likes of Chienta, Boots Barbadger, or Zulong is very good. Just run electric or ice types that can just hit the air type super effectively. You can also use other Lumions such as Holofantic with boots or not, so you can try and get the jump on this Lumion. Other than that, you can try and use defensive answers, although let me say this real quick, I do not recommend Boots Holofantic. But next up, defensive answers. Cleone, Metatoad, and Gargoyle Defense are the best answers because they're all immune to Hypnotize, and they can either force this out, set up hazards on it, or they can hit it back super effectively, or just threaten it out. Because Peace of Mind on Cleone actually does a lot, you're gonna have to be in a setup war against this Lumion, and you're gonna be winning all the time anyway, because their stabs, or some of them, are resisted against you. Not stabs, just regular moves. Ileguana is also another good option. I could mention something like a Soulburst Gas Stroke, but that gets hypnotized. Ileguana, what you really want to do here is either tase it so it can't do much, or you flash and flee out of the battle, or zip zap. Other than that, let's talk about its offensive and defensive teammates. There are pretty decent cores that I want to mention. First off, it's going to be based off of a hypnotized core. Lachant really does so well against its answers. Cleone, Metatoad, Gargoyle Defense, and Ileguana, they can barely touch Lachant, and this is a very strong synergy because Lachant also has slow pivot, so this can bring in this Lumion a lot better, which makes it a lot more better as well. You can also put Soulburst Eruptodon in this core because the main weakness with this core are ice types, so running an offensive fire to deal with that also works. If you do not want to run this, you can choose Vesperatu and then run Soulburst Krakaloa or Lantorch. You can also run the likes of Seer Knight if you want to, as well as Soulburst Skellig. That's also great options for the ice type swap-ins. Vesperatu admittedly doesn't really want to take hits from Ileguana, so that's why I would suggest Lachant over Vesperatu. Lachant also just has consistent recovery and better bulk, and that's pretty much it. One thing I will want to mention, for those running Onslaught, these are the best air types in the game right now. Dragoon provides itself as a pretty good baffle stopper for your snacks, so it's always going to be valuable on a lot of teams. Gargoyle Defense is also another great option, as Gargoyle Defense mainly supports the team through hazards, hazard removal, the driving force, all of that. So this will help your teammates out better, and of course your Lumion of Showcase, because it's going to be chipping through a lot of things. Stratosaur, mainly Soulburst Stratosaur, is also another option, but I wouldn't really try and run this at all. Wintrix is another option that I could have mentioned, but due to the fact that Glaciadia is so much better than it, and you'd much rather run that over getting more 20 base power on an Onslaught, I wouldn't really suggest Wintrix. So that is up for Morphezu. Overall, I think Morphezu is going to be quite a decent Lumion in this metagame. If it does actually have the ability to get consistent Peace of Minds off with Hypnotizes, then I am very sure that this Lumion is going to be very great in the OU metagame. Some things to keep note of: Cleone, Metatoad, and Gargoyle Defense. These Lumions are the best stops to Morphezu, so unless Morphezu gets some coverage in the future, these guys are always going to stop it. However, due to Gargoyle Defense getting nerfed and Metatoad and Cleone being the only ones left, it seems like that Peace of Mind and Hypnotized may go unpunished, but we will have to see. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. This is Connor Stoop signing off to remind you that Zulong is still a dumpster fire.